the second one of today to order. It is Saturday, May 30th, 1 p.m., and we are underway. Mr. Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Stephen Rorix. Michael Myers, present. Brent Hunstead.
Present.
Susan Chett.
Present.
Tony Stallsmith.
Present.
With all five commissioners here, we've established a quorum, and we are able to conduct business today. The next item on the agenda is the approval of today's agenda. Not much to it. We need a motion to approve today's agenda, second, and so forth.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second? Motion's been seconded by Commissioner Myers. All those in favor of today's agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. It's unanimous. We have an approved agenda for today. And there is no approval of previous meeting minutes. We'll reconcile those on June 15th at our next regularly scheduled commissioners meeting. What we have before us today, ladies and gentlemen, is our old business. We've been working diligently for many weeks on interviewing and discussing and strategizing about who we are going to hire for a general manager to take us into the next many years of successful leadership in our community for the benefit of the property owners. And we have, I think we originally fished through 108 resumes, and we narrowed it down to about 20 and conducted initial interviews and developed a list of 4 very high-quality finalists, which we all discussed and interviewed last few days ago. And we're at this juncture, we are going to consider which one we want to present an offer to and move forward with that. So, commissioners, your thoughts?
Excuse me, can you hear me? I've been ill for the last 4 or 5 days. I'll try to push through this, but in light that we received information, I know we've been in this process for a long time. Can you hear me?
That's better.
Okay. I know that we've been in this process since for quite a while. We've gone through a lot of applicants, and thank you too for doing that. But in light of the information that we received a few days back, that on June the 23rd, there's going to be some decisions made about our current lawsuit. And I would like to wait until after this, June the 23rd, before we make a decision to hire somebody, pay them $75,000, to see where this lawsuit is going to end up on that day. I just feel like it would be good business to wait another 2 or 3 weeks before we hire someone at this position to see where this lawsuit is going to go.
Thank you, Commissioner Warrings. Appreciate your comments on that. Does anybody want to respond to Stephen's comments about that?
I would like to also back up what Mr. Rhodes is saying. I think that having a GM, especially of that price, I'm not real comfortable with. I think that having just one other person to take care of that part of the office and the scheduling, I'm not comfortable with spending $70,000 on another manager when we have someone that's doing more than half of that in Jeff Klein. And I think, especially not knowing on June 23rd if we're going to have money to spend or not, and I think it would be prudent for us to wait until then. If Mr. Morris would continue to do his part right at this time as the acting GM, that I would be satisfied with that until we get something, till we kind of get over this hump with this lawsuit. I just think that hiring somebody and then not having money after we bring them here just doesn't seem responsible.
attorneys have told us that our situation is dire in our office and our organizational structure, and they've encouraged us to get with the program and hire a general manager as soon as possible. In light of that, even in light of June 23rd not happening as well as we all hope it does, if we are shot down in flames 100% and this thing goes totally south, this is going to end up in the appellate court for a year or two, and we're still going to be functioning as an organization. We're still going to be here. The five of us are still going to be here for all of you property owners. We cannot abdicate our responsibility of not hiring someone. We have two part-time ladies holding down the fort in the office. Two part-time ladies. They're doing an exemplary job. Totally thrilled with that. But we all need to understand that the general manager is the chief executive officer for the Suburban Improvement District. They have 100% oversight, working under the authority of the five of us. We establish policy and procedure. We give the general manager their marching orders, and they execute. They have the responsibility of making sure that we make fiscally sound and responsible decisions. They have the responsibility of making sure that our employee practices are preserved and taken care of, making sure that payroll, budgeting, everything financial is taken care of. The general manager has oversight over the facilities, the golf course, the lakes, and the office. This is not just an office position. This position is very important and very critical, and we cannot kick this can down the road any further. We have a history of doing that. We have gone the extra mile and worked very hard to comb the countryside for a quality individual. And we have come up with four that I would be pleased to have us in that position. We all have our favorites, and that's what we need to determine today. I am not in favor of postponing this. I'm not in favor of waiting any longer. We have saved thousands of dollars in payroll by not having anybody running the office, doing the general manager job. We have spent a good deal of money with ZipRecruiter, which was just a small percentage compared to what we're going to spend for salary. But to ask Mr. Warwick's, who's done a very good job of being the acting general manager, to continue to act in that regard is not satisfactory. We need somebody that is there 40 hours a week, having their finger on the pulse of everything that is going on in the office. We cannot band-aid and baling wire this together any longer. We've got four candidates that we don't want to slip from our grasp. We need to be a board that takes action today and not a board that dilly-dallies around it and says, what if? Because I think things are going to go well on June 23rd. And maybe 90% in our favor, 10% in the plaintiff's favor. We're still going to be surviving as a suburban improvement district. We need to treat it like that, and we need to plan for the future and not wait for the last minute on the what ifs. Like I said, if we lose 100% on June 23rd, the appellate court is going to be where our next step is. And that will take a year to two, at the very least, to do that. We need somebody that has their finger on the pulse of everything that we do as soon as possible. And waiting for another date on the calendar, waiting for another court appointment is not diligent. All four candidates that we have are aware of the June 23rd situation. All of them have understood that they can take this position, and knowing that there are challenges legally on the forefront, none of them are bothered by this. They understand the risks, they understand the rewards. They've considered this carefully. And I think that if we delay in making a decision today, shame on us. That's all I have to say.
Well, I would have to disagree. As far as this kicking it down the road, we went through a process of, we lost the GM, we got a special administrator, we weren't in power, and then all of a sudden we are. So that has kind of determined our timeline. There was no kicking it down the road. It's just what we had. Now we got it June 23rd. Yeah, we feel good about it, but we're taking a gamble that if we lose, even if we go to appellate court, I don't know if they'll free our funds up right away until we get to the appellate court. It takes an appeal to get overturned, what the judge says, which means we may not have any money up through that time to So we are in a predicament, and this lawsuit is what's kind of determined our timeline of what we're doing. So I don't agree with spending $70,000 on a general manager that's going to oversee everything, and then I'll hire an office manager as well. That's a lot of money to spend that I don't frankly think that we should be spending. I think if we already have Jeff Klein in place doing all the outdoor stuff, and then bring in an office manager, you can call her a general manager or him a general manager, to do all the paperwork and oversee the office and scheduling of employees at Omaha and Thunderbird and scheduling people to do all that stuff. And if there's a maintenance problem, send it to Jeff. They work hand in hand. Jeff sends the maintenance to fix it. I don't see spending $70,000 on another person to oversee everything and not really actually doing work, but just watching. I'm not in favor of a top-heavy management. I believe that an office manager and then maybe another part-time or full-time clerk, entry-level clerk or something to work the office, I think that would be money better spent.
I just mentioned that we have a skeleton crew in the office, 2 part-time ladies. We need more people in the office.
We did approve the hiring of 2 more.
We did approve
One at full-time.
2 entry-level clerks. And
Well, we could take one of those and make them the manager.
No, that is not going to work, Tony. Because a person needs to understand how we operate as a business.
Right.
They need to get their feet wet. It's going to take weeks and weeks and possibly months for a new person to be able to get a grip on the way we do things in the office. We are severely hamstrung right now, and the attorneys have let us know that we are not in the best shape having one of us be the acting general manager. This is not the way it needs to be done. Our bylaws / code of regulations put forth specific language that says we need to have a general manager. Now, whether we get talked about having an office manager, that was part of our proposed structure, a general manager, office manager, lakes manager, golf manager, facilities manager. Mr. Jeff Klein of Specialized Outdoor Services, he's a contract hire. He is not an employee. He can give us 10 minutes worth of notice and he can be gone. Next year, he can say, I've got a bigger fish to fry. You guys find somebody else. We cannot wait on the what-ifs on a contract employee. That is not sound business principles. That's not a good practice. Jeff is doing a good job. I'll give you that. But our structure set forth in the bylaws, which have yet to be ratified, we'll be doing that soon. They provide for a district manager, a general manager, who has the responsibility of overseeing the budget, making sure that our reserve fund is strong, where our money goes is strong, where our budget goes and what it needs to do is strong. We do not have anybody that is doing the internal stuff as far as the hiring practices, the oversight for employees, all of this stuff. Asking our 2 part-time people, our office administrator and our tax clerk, that is beyond the scope of their job. Okay. Jan is our part-time office administrator who has been going way over and above and beyond a call of duty to help us out during this difficult time. And she has expressed to me that she prefers to be part-time. She does not want to be full-time. Am I correct in that assumption?
That's how I was originally hired, was part-time, but
Okay. So what I'm saying here is we still need leadership. We're not supposed to be running the day-to-day, folks. We are the ones that provide policy and practical decisions for the general manager to execute. We are on a wing and a prayer, and to continue on in this way is reckless. It is not smart. I'm not for it, and I'm strictly opposed. Whether we hire an office manager or not, I don't really care about it at that point. When we get a general manager on board, which we desperately need, the general manager can assess the situation, get comfortable with the work that's going on in our community, and determine at that point if we need to spend another $40,000 $45,000 or $50,000 on a office manager. He may be totally happy and capable of doing that. Asking two office clerks out of hope and a prayer that someday they're going to grow up and grow into being an office manager is foolhardy. I'm not buying it. I'm not taking it. Neither of you, none of you should either. I'm going to put up a strong opposition to the thought we don't need a general manager. We need a general manager, and I would appreciate to hear from Susan and Michael on this as well.
Thank you, Brent, for your opinion. We appreciate that. You were talking about someone who handled the day-to-day operations. I think if we hired an office manager, that person would make $35,000, $40,000 a year. We need the help in the office when we work in what we do, rather than on the management end of what we do. I agree with Tony in that I do not agree with a top-heavy management.
We don't have anyone.
Exactly. We need to hire some people working in the office to get the daily, day-to-day work that we need in the office. We have hired a person, Jeff Klein, and given him the authority of a general manager to do all of the outside work. We've already given him that in a contract. So all we need is someone to do the inside day-to-day work, general manager type person. I think would suffice for what we need right now. And again, I want to go back to what is 2 or 3 weeks going to hurt to see where this goes, this lawsuit goes.
Because we've been kicking this around for a couple of months now. We know the attorneys all say we need a general manager. We all have talked about this and realized we need a general manager. And, well, I'm filling in the gaps here for you. Jeff Klein's not a general manager. He's a contract employee that's an administrator over the golf course, the lakes, and the facilities. His tenure is year to year. I don't like the lack of stability in that. I want somebody that is going to run our business like a business. We're not going to be cutting corners. For years, we had a previous manager who was making $70,000, $75,000, $80,000 a year, and we need that structure in our office.
And that is
running on
well
it.
for us.
And that's what is?
That has worked real well for us.
What does
Having a general manager overlook everything.
the general manager?
We determined last year that one person cannot overlook everything because it was too much work. That's why we wanted to split it between 2 people. Someone to work the office, someone to work the outside stuff. Jeff Klein also proposed this, and we went with this because Jeff knows everything about, he's great with the lakes, he's great with the golf courses, he knows maintenance, he has great ideas to help us with maintenance. And it's working out, and I can't see, I mean, even if you employ somebody, you're not under contract, if you employ somebody, they can leave at the end of this year too. If they don't like what they see, they can just up and leave too. There's no stability, and there's no, I mean, you're not going to, just because we hire them doesn't mean they're going to stick around. I mean, they may come to the end of the year and go, man, I don't like this, I'm out of here. And now we're back and get another person. It's no different from having Jeff Klein. I just don't think, we have not approved the setup that you have proposed in the bylaws. I'm against it. I don't feel that we need that many managers and supervisors. We need people that know. Daryl Knuckles is the head of maintenance. He's out there working with everybody as well. He's not just sitting in the office and going, hey, go do this, go do that. He's out there with them doing the work as well. So did George when he was in charge of maintenance. I think an office person that can just, as Steve said, get in there. We would spend $30,000 to $35,000 hiring somebody that understands everything and can handle all that. And we could call them a GM, and they have the general management of the office and the scheduling and all that stuff that Jeff doesn't do. And Then we hire one other person to come in and help Jan and all them do the work to cover for them, an entry-level person to do that. I just can't understand spending $70,000 on a GM that's going to sit around and just kind of tell people what to do.
We don't have a budget.
Well, that's what you do. That's what you get you call a GM. We spend $30,000 to $35,000. Call them a GM. They take care of all the office work, make the day-to-day decisions, and takes care of all that matter. And we fulfill our obligation by the bylaws.
Jeff Klein is not forever. He's a contracted employee. And as long as he's doing a good job, that's fine.
But neither is anybody that we hire. They're not forever. Nobody's forever.
We have in our bylaws, it says we need to have that structure of a GM.
No,
You're
we
gonna
do
have
not.
to-
That's
yes,
a proposal.
it does, Tony.
That's a proposal
The
that we have
previous,
not
I've got the
ratified.
floor, Tony. The previous general manager, it's in the old bylaws, and it says the old bylaws were signed by the previous board in 2023. Acknowledge the fact that we need to have a general manager. The proposal we had for the 4 sub-managers below that is just that, it's a proposal. If you want to try and rework this whole program, so you have 2 managers, Jeff Klein is outside manager, which I'm dead set against, and 1 office person, which Jan doesn't already want to do, and you're going to hire somebody that's green right now and doesn't know what they're doing, and hope for success, we're sadly mistaken.
Okay.
We need to have at least, if you want to go to the 2 management thing, we've got to redo the entire bylaws, and we've already kicked that can down the road multiple times. And I'm not in for that. We've already talked about a general manager. We've gone through all this. Why did you not put up a fuss sooner?
That is not true. We didn't kick it down the road. You sent it to Barrett Moore. And we were coming prepared to discuss the bylaws the last time, and you gave it to Barrett Moore, which I did not know about, and I did not know who's under whose authority. That it went to him because it was already gone through QGT. So, no, we didn't kick it down the road. You decided to have Barrett Moore review it before we decided to do it.
Paul recommend the new attorney review it, so that is what we did. Okay, it wasn't my idea. That was Paul Von Grimsenthal.
Okay, but under his authority, did we discuss doing that? As a group, did we discuss giving it to Barrett Moore?
It wasn't one of those things that needed to have 5 of us sitting up here saying we need to pass that along to them. It was good business practice on our part to pass that along. And if we're not going to move forward, on voting on a general manager today, we might as well just end this meeting right now, and you guys can figure it all later without my help. Mike? Susan?
I'm going to make this real simple. We're talking about general manager. We keep talking about general manager, office manager. I don't care if it's CEO of SIP operations. Somebody to run something. In this case, we got confirmation from our law firm saying that we needed to hire a general manager. But the mistake we made was when we asked that, we used the phrase general manager. Again, I'm going back into the office manager. It could be chief cook and bottle washer, whatever we want to call it. We also, it's a 2-part thing here. We also, a few months ago, made a decision to do the Jeff Klein thing between now and December 31st. And next year, when 2027 happens, my original structure has that. GM, Lakes Administrator, Facilities Administrator, Golf Administrator, Office Administrator. That's down the road a bit. We're not there yet. June 23rd, fine. I'm the eternal optimist. We're gonna be fine after June 30th. Knock on wood. So yes, that's only a few weeks from now. Where I'm going is the attorneys told us that we must hire a general manager, but they used the word general manager because we used the word general manager over and over and over again. I want to go back. If this was a city council meeting, city attorney would be sitting right there asking the question right now. We don't have that luxury. So, and I don't know with Arkansas FOIA if I can call executive session, go in there right now and call one of the attorneys. And here's what I would say. I would say, say, look, we asked you specifically on the word, the title phrase, general manager. However, also, when one of the attorneys was in the office a few months ago, and we do know the attorney said, hey, we got to keep commissioners out of the office. We're flying at 40,000 feet. We don't want you in the office doing day to day. That's not a good look. May even be illegal. I don't know that. So I understand all of that. What I want to ask the attorney is, true executive level, C-level, general manager, or did you really mean anybody in the office to keep the five of us out of it, to do the day by day, okay, we can spend up to, I don't need to go to the board to spend $1,500 on this, or to buy a box of paper clips. I agree we need somebody in the office to be doing that, but I want to get clarification from the attorneys right now. And I want to call.
You're not going anywhere.
I know I am. I know I'm not. So the earliest we're going to be is Monday on that. But I want to know, hey, council, we did use the phrase general manager, but really, isn't what you meant just to keep us out of the office and somebody in their day-to-day, which could be between now and the end of the year, a regular office manager, something like that? I don't know the answer to that, and until I find the answer to that, I'm not doing anything.
That answer is stipulated in the bylaws under district manager or general manager, whichever interchangeable term you want to use, because we are a suburban improvement district. The bylaws refer to it as a district manager. We've been referring to it as a general manager, and we've had a general manager in the past, and why we're balking now at not moving forward this, where we have a skinny office staff, and we are in a difficult spot. We need somebody that is holding down the fort and making decisions. You know, that is, if we don't decide on this today, I'll be really, really disappointed.
Well, I'm not saying that we don't need somebody to do that, but what we're saying is we don't need to hire a $70,000 executive level GM.
It's in the budget.
Where we can save $35,000 by not spending that on somebody who can do that?
I'm sorry, for the people that we're looking for, to find somebody a $30,000 or $35,000 a year agreement, Tony, it's not going to happen. That is just a notch.
That is a determination of this council, not by one person.
You know how hard we've worked on this for 2 months or plus, and now we're finally getting some pushback on this. I'm disappointed in the pushback that we're
We've had
getting.
some pushback on it, you're just not listening to me before. I've told you before, I wasn't in favor of GM, OM, and all these other managers. We hired Jeff Klein to do the outside. I've told you before that I'm not in favor of the top-heavy organization that we're talking about. So
One person is not top-heavy. We've got 2 people in the office. The
Yeah,
office needs 4 or 5
we're
people.
talking about bringing in an office manager to be more the GM at a $35,000 rate to take care of that with Jeff Klein taking care of
$30,000 or $35,000.
That's what you wanted, Tony.
That's
And
not-
that's,
That's what I want.
Okay, that
It's
would-
not reality.
It sounds like
It's not reality.
more than just me.
That would be $14 an hour. That's less than, that's not a lot of money. If we hire somebody for $70,000, that's $33 an hour. That's less than we pay the special administrator.
You've already got someone doing Jeff Klein's job. I mean, that's more than half of the job right there.
Jeff Klein is not a permanent employee. He's a contract
Nobody's
employee.
a permanent employee.
Let me get back to Jeff Klein for 1 minute. We cannot forget this fact. We made a deal that, I'm not going to welch on that deal. We made a deal between now and the end of the year. First off, we're brand new to the board. I've learned, I thought I knew a lot before I became commissioner. Of course, now that I'm in the position, things change. I've learned an awful lot that I did not know prior. For example, Jeff Klein, I did not know to the extent of what he did before I became commissioner. Even when I became commissioner, those first few weeks, I had no idea. So I was all for one structure. Once I found out what he did and what property owners, most of them are tickled pink with, and to me it's working out fine, but we still have a deal that we agreed to between now and the end of the year. So let's say we voted for a new executive level, C-level general manager. We bring him or her in starting July 1st. Between July 1st and December 31st, that seat we're paying C-level, executive level salary to pretty much do an office manager's work. No offense, I'm not trying to degrade anything. What I'm saying is that general manager will have no say and will not be able to tell Jeff Klein, do this. Because of what the structure of what we have agreed to, all five of us, 2 or 3 months ago. And that is good until December 31st at midnight. So the new, if we hired a new one, he or she's going to be ordering paper clips and not being able to tell Jeff Klein anything. Cannot hire any of, or won't be able to hire or fire any of those outside employees.
I think you're getting beyond in your determination here,
Right.
what the new general manager would do. Whether or not Jeff Klein is our contract outside maintenance person, he does not have full authority on who we hire and who we
But
fire.
of what the authority we gave him, I'm not willing to lessen that between now and December
We're not
31st.
lessening anything, but the general manager still has final say of who works and who doesn't, who gets hired and who doesn't, whether we need an office manager or
Not
not.
on what we agreed, not on what the contract says. We have to. I'm not gonna risk it. I like what's going on right now in the outside world. Cherokee Village outside.
And I don't think Jeff
world.
would leave. I think if I were building golf courses, nice golf courses, and doing all this working late, to just up and leave because I'm tired of doing this, doesn't make sense to me. I mean, he loves Cherokee Village. He's a local guy. He wants to improve everything we have in the lakes and with maintenance and with the golf courses. And then to do all that work and then just say, okay, I'm done. I just don't see him doing that.
The question today is not whether or not Jeff Klein's a capable individual. He's good at what he does. He's not an employee of ours. He's a contract hired hand. And he does not have the amount of authority that you think he's got. So I just said the item on the agenda today is, are we going to offer extend an offer of employment to one person, or are we going to let this die on the vine?
I'm not willing to let anything die on the vine. What I think is, like I said, I've learned. I mean, I know more today than I did yesterday, but vice versa. I'm learning as a new commissioner. We all are. Like I said, I know a lot of things now that I didn't know a month ago. And in light of that, and in light of June 20, even though I think June 23rd is going to be just fine. Maybe I'm talking about, I shouldn't be saying that, but the point is, I'm the eternal optimist. I think we're going to be fine overall. But we do have that deadline in 3 weeks. We will find out, we'll have certainty in 3 weeks. It's just like the stock market, right? Whatever that decision is, they want the certainty. Now they've got the certainty, now they can make their decisions. We do not have 100% certainty right now. We will in a few weeks. So we not kicking the can down the road, not letting it wither on the vine. I've learned a bunch of stuff in the past few weeks that I think we just need to we need to get those answers, which we will have. I'm going to have one answer on Monday, and then 2 or 3 weeks later we're going to have another answer, and by then we will know what direction I think we should go.
I make a motion to table.
But it's only for a few weeks, people. This is not the end of the world.
I make a motion to table this issue.
Oh,
table this issue.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Saul Smith to table this issue to a further date and time.
I'm going to say one more thing, because nobody's second discussion. We interviewed 4 really good candidates. I like them all. Any one of them could do the job. Heck, I think they're overqualified for what this is. Having said that too, the odds of all 4 of them, if we decide to do this, the odds of all 4 of them getting jobs in the next 3 weeks, come on. I mean, I'm not really much of a gambler, man, but I think I'd put a couple bucks at Las Vegas on that. All 4 of them are not going to get hired in 3 weeks. That's my guess. If they do, great. More power to them. I was wrong. We may have to spend a couple of bucks on ZipRecruiter. We'll find 4 more just as qualified. 3 weeks or whatever the number is not gonna.
Commissioner Saul Smith has a motion on the floor to table the issue. Do we have a second?
Upset the apples.
Do we have a second?
I would like to amend that motion and say we postpone it until June 24th and give us a specific time, not kicking it far down the road, way down. I think June the 24th. The hearing will be June 23rd. We can come in June the 24th, and we will be more knowledgeable about what we can and can't do.
I second that.
You can't second your own motion.
Well, it's amendment.
Okay.
It's amendment then.
So,
I would look. June.
we've already got a motion on the floor, so either Tony has to withdraw his motion, so you can amend it.
He amended, or he seconded Tony's motion. I amended, Tony seconded.
June 23rd is a Tuesday, the 24th is a Wednesday, Friday is the 26th, June 29th on Monday. Literally hours after the 23rd, we're going to have a lot of new information. I don't think less than 24 hours after to have a meeting. We need a day or two to digest a bunch of stuff. Why don't we have it on Friday the 26th or Monday the 29th?
Friday the
It's only a
26th.
few days.
We've got a motion on the floor to table this until June 26th.
Friday the 26th at 4 o'clock.
It's been seconded. Any further
Call
discussion?
for a vote.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Request a roll call vote, please.
Stephen
Roll call
Roberts.
vote. Roll call vote.
Yes.
Stephen Roberts.
Yes.
Michael Myers, yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
Motion has been passed to table this motion, this hiring practice, or this hiring activity until June 26th, which is what day of the week again? Friday.
4 o'clock.
Friday.
Did we confirm at 4 o'clock? Yes.
Friday, 6/26, 4 p.m. Okay, so the motion is, we are tabled. Today's activity is done. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.